This is where it gets fun. This is where I come alive.
We're just ready to show up, and Jake's in good shape. His mind is very locked in and focused for this. So, we're all looking forward to it. So
Jake Paul is locked into a brutal heavyweight training camp in Miami as he prepares for his December 19th showdown with Anthony Joshua. He's brought in top-level sparring partners who can match Joshua's size, strength, and pressure, all while working daily with elite coaches. Camp also includes specialized therapists and advanced training systems designed to boost speed, power, recovery, and precision. Every session is built around sharpening technique, pushing endurance, and strengthening mental focus. Jake is treating this fight as the biggest challenge of his career, approaching every moment with full commitment and absolute determination. Paul's preparation for Anthony Joshua shows a level of dedication that most people never see. According to his coach, the public only watches the highlights, not the hours of intense work behind the scenes. Jake's days are filled with heavy conditioning, non-stop drilling, and strict technical adjustments, all designed for one purpose: to compete with a world-class heavyweight. His coach explains that fans often underestimate how much sacrifice is required to survive at this level. Jake faces exhaustion daily, mentally and physically, yet he pushes through it, proving that he is not treating this fight as entertainment. He's training like a real contender.
It's sacrifice in the camp, and Jake sacrificed a lot to get ready for the last fight, on top of releasing the new brand W, and so he needed a break. And so we took a month off, got right back in there, and now we're getting ready for Mike. And we're not as heavy as we were before, which is a plus for us. I didn't want us to go back up, but you can guarantee he's gonna be ready to fight now. I think in the last 6 weeks, you've seen Jake slowly tighten himself up and get himself prepared, and he's really locked in now. So what we've been able to see is Jake evolve into the gladiator. He's slowly evolving into the gladiator that he has become for fight night. About time he finishes the camp and goes through everything he needs to go through, by that night, he'll be fully prepared. His outer shell that he needs to be able to go in there and be the gladiator for the night, he'll have that ready, and that's what you see happening now. That's the process.
Every detail of Jake Paul's camp is centered on one mission: defeating a former world champion. Analysts point out that Jake's mental preparation is now just as sharp as his physical training. He spends time visualizing every scenario, preparing himself for pressure, and studying how to handle the toughest moments. Each session is crafted to grow confidence while correcting weaknesses. This mental discipline shows how much he has evolved since entering the sport, proving he is no longer just a social media figure. Jake's mindset has matured, giving him a real foundation to face a challenge as massive as Anthony Joshua.
Built for this. Enjoy the process, enjoy the moment. When it's over, I'm gonna be missing these moments.
145.
Sparring is a huge factor in Jake Paul's growth. Those inside his camp say Jake regularly tests himself against skilled fighters, sometimes pushing them so hard that they leave camp realizing how serious he is. This is the first time he's had to bring in partners who match Anthony Joshua's size, power, and reach. Jake wants that level of pressure. He wants someone who can force him to adapt, learn, and evolve. These sessions allow him to practice defensive reactions, test offensive combinations, and learn how it feels to trade with a true heavyweight. It's all designed to prepare him for the danger Joshua brings.
Training with Jake Paul, when that was, how much sparring you did with him.
So training with Jake Paul, I got to understand how he was as a fighter. He was new into the boxing. He was developing at a very quick rate. This guy trained his ass off. Like, we would spar twice a week in the hot ass gym in Puerto Rico. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Dude, when I tell you Jake was beating up all these professional boxers who was sparring them, it was just one of those, like, bro, he was whooping their ass and sending them home. That same night, he told everybody bluntly, I'm sending you, and home. Only person thinks is this guy Anthony. And he was like, the reason why, because this motherfucker's coming here and giving me work that I need. None of y'all is giving me the work.
Respected trainer Tony Jeffries highlights the extraordinary intensity of Jake Paul's current camp. He explains that this isn't a normal boxing program, it resembles the structure used to train Olympic athletes. Jake uses state-of-the-art equipment, specialized conditioning, and personalized coaching that targets every element of performance. Goal is complete development, strength, technique, stamina, reflexes, and tactical precision. Jeffries adds that this approach helps Jake adapt quickly, react sharply, and stay dangerous early in the fight. This isn't a one-dimensional camp, it's a full-scale system built to prepare Jake Paul for the complexity of facing a high-level heavyweight like Joshua.
Strength training for explosive power, slamming that ball against the wall and rotating, just like you'd be throwing a hook. You see there, he's caught it, he's pulled it back, turning into it, boom. We also see he's getting in an ice bath here. Now, ice baths is not just good for recovery, helping with the inflammation in your body after what you've been putting it through, but it's also good for the mental side of things. Because when you go in an ice bath, everything in your mind is saying, get out of here, what are you doing? So you've got to get past that part of your mind that's telling you that and push through it. So it's great for your mindset as well. Now, one more thing I just want to add with Jake Paul's training before I give you a recap on it. We always see him training. Look, he's got like a group of people around him. There's cameramen there, there's coaches there, all spurring him on. Now, boxing is normally a very lonely sport. When you're in the gym, it's normally you and your coach. Unless you're dealing with a group of people, it's harder for you to get the one-on-one attention that you need. So when you're fighting as a pro, when I was fighting as a pro, it was often just me and my coach. Sometimes there will be another guy in there as well. Sometimes my dad would come, which really helped push me through the session. But when my friends did ever come, maybe one session here and there, that spurred me on even more to get the most out of us. As we see here, he's got people around him all the time. Cameramen, coaches, friends, strength and conditioning coaches, his boxing coach, and he's just his full team around him who's getting paid. What that does is help the fighter, in this case Jake, get more out of the sessions rather than being there by himself, which I think is great. When I was training for the Olympics, we had that sort of support around us and it was amazing. But when I turned pro, that went out the window because you've got to pay for that support. So now my final thoughts on Jake Paul's boxing training. There isn't anything I can pull apart here. Everything...
Veteran analyst Dan Rafael sees major improvements in Jake Paul's skills since the Tommy Fury fight. He notes better technique, stronger endurance, and smarter tactical choices. However, Rafael reminds fans that even with these upgrades, facing Anthony Joshua is an enormous test. Jake has shown he can evolve, but the pressure of fighting a former unified champion is unlike anything he's faced. The Wade concept adds another warning: Jake must avoid crossing the line between confidence and delusion. Belief is necessary in combat sports, but ignoring reality can be dangerous. They stress that Jake must stay grounded, realistic, and fully